like a chameleon. You look at Caleb Amisi and you see the things that guy is talking about right now, and you wonder, is this the same Caleb Amisi before June 25th? How do we solve that problem? Probably I might not come out very, very well, but I think civic education, we need to educate our people. How many people know about our constitution? How many people own a constitution and the document itself? How many people understand that it's not your role to fight poverty? It's the role of the government to fight poverty. You can't have an employer or sort of someone who is supposed to do a certain duty and take care of the nation, take care of our boundaries, and still leave some parts for you to do. It's not your role to fight poverty. It's the role of the government. You are supposed to basically go to any office. You actually have the problem of even choosing between jobs, not being unemployed. It's not your role, because if you go to school, and many people have been doing this, you go to school, you have all these certificates, you can't find a job. That is a failure of the government, and you need the people to understand that. It's not because that you did a wrong course or whatever. If you even did a wrong course, it's still the failure of the government. These are people we put there to work to our own needs. And if we need to get it right, we need to have people educated, and people know that whatever you do on the ballot box sort of translates to whatever will happen in the next 5 years. So if we have taken this sort of position of making sure that we educate our people, it's a very, very important step we have done, and we should support each and every person who is doing this. And lastly, maybe Buka, if I can just say one more point.
Yes, Chief.
I have seen most of the people sort of. All right. I've seen a lot of people sort of fighting Morara and talking about Morara is taking this too far. He's going into politics. And I want to remind you one thing. When this movement started, when Occupy Parliament started, it didn't start in June 25th. It started in 2013. The people who started that movement have done their part. And right now, we don't sort of hear a lot from them. The same thing will happen, I'm very, very sure. Because the moment you do your part, the moment you take the movement to the next level, right now we are talking about civic education. Morara is doing it. That is not an end. That is sort of a progress. And the people who will come, even if he sets up a political party, he might even end up not being in the ballot box. So let's not concentrate on what we think will be the end goal. Let's concentrate on how is the movement going. How are we in June 25th? How are we right now? How do we want to be in December? I think that's very, very important. And Buka, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Chief. But just one little comment out of what you said as well is that we want to build a strong organization that if an individual gets to betray the cause, then we can hold that individual responsible. So the issue of popular political education is very important, so that anyone, even if it is Morara that becomes the president of this country, and then he go against the collective will of the people, we can hold him squarely responsible. So the NCCPA is to build a collective where people can be answerable to, because we do not really think that an individual, just one individual, for example, Buka or Modiora, or even, chief economist, can save this country. So we have to build an organization. We appreciate the efforts that are being done by each and every Kenyan, and I know we will converge. And those who truly love Kenya will then prosper. But those who, if even Modiora today take political power and comes to this space and lies to us, we must hold him responsible, call him out, and punish him for his mistakes. Toria, please run with it. Toria, you have to unmute your mic, and those people who have spoken, please drop off so that we can be able to make this. I can see Toria, she's not there. What about Kenyan lady? You can take the mic.
Hi, can you hear me? Just give me 100%. Thank you. So there are two things that I really want to highlight, and sometimes sometimes I think we overthink things, and I think it has become it has become the energy that Kenya has taken. Most of us in the movement, it's like we are overthinking things. Even sometimes kitu hakitendeki, but you're still overthinking, and then that thought is picked by somebody else, and before you know it, it is actually an idea that everybody is thinking about. So those people who follow the movement closely, you can see a narrative creeping in. It's picked up by one person, and then another person picks it up, and before you know, within 24 hours, that's the narrative that is ongoing. So I do not know how to fight that, but that's something that we need to watch. So that's just but an FYI. I don't know how that can be dealt with, especially in this era of social media. But mtu anaanza kitu just from the corner of a tree, and then it becomes an issue, and it becomes something that is drawing our energies. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about, which is was really my first thing, is let us, when we form this movement, when we continue with the movement, let us try our very best to define whose role is where. I know we probably may not be at this point, but we can just try. Like, for instance, tawapatia mfano, sisi wote wenye tuko ugaibuni, we are trying our very best to help the movement, and we have done. I cannot start saying like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that we have done, but I can say, like, kwa mfano, giving an office, which was done genuinely by people we know from the diaspora. It has become an issue. Why? Because maybe we have not defined the diaspora as an entity in the movement. Do we really need to think about that? Because if we do that, then it would have been easier for us to come in big ways. But if we do these things and you are questioning us, then we are wondering whether we are in the same movement, So that's one thing that I don't know what NCCPA can input. I don't know if somebody has an answer for me right now, but that's something I really need us to probably tutilie manani, because coming in and being questioned, do you know whose that house is, blah blah blah. Sometimes this argument and the discussion of dead capital has come in. Now we have found things to be done in our dead capital, and now you are questioning it. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, the second item about the civic education. Yes, that's what we need. And I think somebody responded. I think it's Buka that responded to Abu. You cannot question a common Kenyan how they vote if they are, first of all, ignorant. They are not aware, not even being ignorant, but it's because they do not know. They just do not know. So I'm just insisting on the civic education, and coming from my first question or my first input, if we put this thing together, we validate each other. Let's start with civic education, and then we move on like that. Let's define the place for diaspora in the movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kenyan lady. And yes, we are initiating talks with diaspora under the NCCPA. So feel free to inbox us. And next time we have a meeting with the diaspora, we will make sure that we put you on the loop, because the diaspora is a very integral part of the movement. And so it's important. On the misinformation and false narratives that are being spread, I also want to tell you that we need to have a core team that is able to counter the false narratives and the propaganda that is spread by the enemy. That is what NCCPA is doing. Now we are having only 50 volunteers, but by the moment we are having 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 or 30,000 volunteers working on a daily basis to make Kenya a better place, we will be able to confront the disinformation, misinformation, believable lies, narratives, and protect at least our movement, against the enemy's, schemes. So, Toria, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know if I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, mine was just a little bit of my sense, like, we blame so much the system, and as far as we blame the system, we also should blame ourselves, because we, people of Kenya, we believe in unrealistic manifestos which are given to us by these politicians. I think we should also check on virtues, because we blame the system, we rectify the system, but we go ahead and elect crooked, rogue people in the system again. Definitely, the system will remain to be.
Toria, I got a question for you.
Ebo karibia simu sikusikii fiti.
Nasema niko na swali.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying, if you put poor people, in extreme poverty, and you make
I'm
them
saying we people.
No, I'm just asking a question. If you put people to live a life of,
We can't hear both of you.
You can't hear both of us. Morara, can you hear us? You're the co-host.
You're audible from my end, and I was just urging that we land the points home because we are dangerously out of time.
Okay. The question I wanted to ask Toria is, you make people live in abject poverty, where they don't know even where their next meal is going to come from. They have a sick parent. They are constantly living in violence. How is it possible to blame such a person in not making informed choices? Toria.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is that when we are trying to blame the system as well, because, we elect these people sometimes out of sympathy, tribalism, or emotions. That's what sometimes it misleads us. If we rectify on that and check on virtues and what we want for our leaders, I think it might help us rectify our system as well, because we don't expect to elect a rogue person and the system to be corrected. And also, when we are doing this, we need to check on the manifestos they are giving us. Like, let them present realistic manifestos that can be achieved within the certain time that they have prescribed or they have told us. That's my thought for now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Toria. I still would like the people who are coming after Toria kindly, because this is a question that for me, I think it's important when we blame the citizens while the system has alienated from anything meaningful to live a meaningful life. Because, for example, when somebody is taking 200 shillings from a corrupt politician to get a meal or two, I think the key that we have been talking about here is political education. If we can accelerate and politicize the people, then probably we can rescue and bring out the quality of the vote. Because you're not talking about, in fact, this democracy is just about money. We cannot be run by just a gang of criminals with money that buy their way into power, and then after buying their way, they try to get back their money like in a casino. Now that the slave market ended, they want to get back their money through budgeted corruption. So I think we still need to continue pushing the point of popular political education and making sure that people are conscious that politics indeed means a lot in their daily lives. I don't know if I know how to pronounce your name, but Piroso. Please have the mic. And those people who have spoken, you can drop, and then I will give some.
Piroso seems to be experiencing some technical hitches, so as he sorts that out, maybe we can go to Jelani. Jelani, if you're ready,